everyone, and welcome to this little addendum to yesterday's live stream where Charloco and I discuss the tragic events of last week in
What the
Osaka.
fuck, Gato?
I get that. At this point, it's like I'm devastated, but it's like it's happened so much now. It's just like I'm used to. It's like being a Notre Dame football fan. It's like, oh, I'm used to this. I'm used to having my heart broken. So go on.
No, there needs to be a meme of just Naito fans watching this main event, and then it's just the Will Smith picture.
Yeah. 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 So
So
let's,
everything is evil.
especially Gato. So let's back this up. So Evil shocked the world, broke mini brackets, and definitely shocked the world by defeating Kazuchika Okada in the finals of the New Japan Cup, and then shocked the world even more by turning on Naito and joining the Bullet Club. So then,
And shock the world even more.
I remember just like sitting there, like just staring, like this was worse than Wrestle Kingdom 12. Just what the fuck? Why? Why can't we have nice things? I don't. Well, first of all, let's look at some of the other stuff on the card. We have new IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions.
Our boy.
Yeah, our boy Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Ibushi and Tanahashi. And
Actually, good match.
yes, Taichi's gotten a lot better. I just kind of.
Oh yeah.
And I enjoyed Taichi's character, but then fucking Evil. He destroys the dreams of Sonata. We don't even get the Hiromu match. The Hiromu match doesn't even happen with Naito. It's just why? Why are we now? Fuck you, coronavirus, because we would have got that without the coronavirus. So fuck the coronavirus, and fuck you, Gato.
And the scary thing is, we'll never know if this was always Gato's master plan of shitting on Naito fans, or if this is just some Hail Mary booking.
I could have honestly, real talk, I could have honestly seen this happening at Wrestling Dontaku. I mean, we'll never know, but it works so well with it being in Osaka, where Naito just can't ever catch a fucking break. I mean, he did beat Ibushi in Osaka last year, but more often than not, he's coming up short. He lost to Tanahashi. Yeah. He lost to.
Although he beat Kenta there. Yeah, that was at the New Year's.
Yeah.
New Beginnings was that in Osaka this year. But besides that,
Dominion seems to be like even more than Wrestle Kingdom. Like Dominion's kind of his Achilles heel now. So this just begs the question: where everything is evil, but where are they going from here with evil? Like, where do you think? I mean, like, it's kind of impossible. You can't really put American wrestling logic into New Japan, writing. But
I feel like it's hard to even put a New Japan logic in just 2020 at this point.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we are getting Hiromu versus Evil for both of the titles, but I really don't see Hiromu winning this. But I will say this with Evil, like well, obviously as a Naito fan, I'm not a big fan of the call. I'm a little more, and people in the comments section and people we know are going to call me biased, but I'm a little bit more receptive to this out of nowhere win than the one that happened last year with Jay White, just because I feel like there's a little bit more little bit more steak than sizzle
Yeah.
with this. You know, man, there's a little bit more you can unpack here with Jay. It just felt like we need a white guy because we're going to America. With this, I feel like there could be
Yeah.
there's a bit more directions with a bit more depth to it than you could have him and have Sonata. If we're building up towards Sonata, having him take the belt off of his former friend that had to cheat to beat him in the New Japan Cup would be a good story that could be told.
I mean, Evil does have a lot of potential challengers, not just Sonata. You have Okada, who actually has a singles match coming up, I think on the 25th or something, and that could be a way to set up him as the next challenger. Ibushi and Tanahashi are now both no longer tag champions, so they could also jump in there as well.
Right. Yeah, and then we got Hiromu. I think, and it just depends. Like if they're able to hold, I don't know. I don't follow international governments and international rules and regulations too much, so forgive me there. But if they're not able to put everyone in the dome, I could see Gato kind of maybe going a little bit more. I don't know what the word I don't want to say reckless with his booking or writing rather, but more so. I feel like he could be a little more loose, I guess I should say. If they can only put a third of the people in the Tokyo Dome, well, that third is going to sell out because I'm sure the Japanese fans, just like the American fans, are going to go, hey, look, wrestling. Let's get it. Who cares who's wrestling? It's live wrestling and it's doing something. Let's go, guys. So you could build up to potentially under less than favorable circumstances as far as what you can pack in an arena. Why not have Sonata versus Evil in the main event? Now, whereas, and this isn't a knock on Sonata or Evil by any stretch of the imagination, but you could also, if they could sell out the whole dome, he'd want to pull Okada or Tana or even Naito, the three top draws in the company. You'd kind of have to play safe with that. Put one of those three guys in the main event, but if you can't sell out the whole arena, you'll sell it out on the fact that it's something to do alone. Why not let Evil main event? Why not let him and Sonata explode, in the main event of the Tokyo Dome? And then you could have... Go ahead.
I was just saying, I could see that being entertaining. Although, personally, I don't see Evil lasting past the G1 with this belt. So I'm thinking he's going to lose it either August or September, depending on how they book their shows.
Now, I will say this. I feel like Evil does need to have one or two title defenses. Successful title defenses. But, because I just really don't want the I don't want this trope of the IWGP title to be, hey, Bullet Club member wins it, and he transitions to the next guy. I don't want that. And that's kind of been, with the exception of Omega, that's been any Bullet Club member that's held the IWGP title.
For anyone that's said, for anyone that's been that was disappointed with Omega's run as IWGP champion, let's put it like this: Omega has been the only champion besides Okada these past couple of years that got past one title defense.
Yeah. Oh god, that's really when you're used to long champions with after Okada, which I know that's kind of that's something special right there, but that's kind of weird to think about with the IWGP title. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know when or if they're gonna separate the belts, but I could potentially see a rematch for the Intercontinental title at the Dome.
Oh, I could see that, yeah.
With Naito.
For example, I feel like if Okada ends up challenging Evil, it will just be for the IWGP title. I see him having no interest as usual with the IC title, so then Okada could win that, but then Evil still has the Intercontinental belt.
Yeah, and then, potentially at the Dome, Naito gets his revenge And then and you could even have, after he holds both belts, like Naito, he's already accepted the Intercontinental title. You could see him actually embrace it and be like, this is mine now. This is mine. This is my belt. This is the belt that is associated with me. And then potentially down the line, and this is me, really dreaming, but maybe Hiromu and Naito for the Intercontinental title, and when Hiromu goes to the heavyweight division. Or Hiromu and Naito as tag champions. I'm looking for happiness somewhere, and it's not fucking happening in New Japan!
Well, are you one of those people, though, that have been saying that New Japan is ruined now?
No, I don't think New Japan is ruined now. I do think it's one of those, if you're a Naito fan, never think you can have nice things. That's never going to happen, so just stop while you're ahead. But I will say, and I don't really agree with anything that I like Evil. Don't get me wrong. I also must say this, from seeing, I can't remember his first name, I remember his last name was Watanabe, wrestle what I felt at the time was a very mediocre match at St. Louis Anarchy Pro Wrestling while he was on excursion, to turning into this. Like, I want to say I am kind of, proud to see how he's developed through the years, and now turning into the top guy in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But I don't think it's ruined. I just kind of, and I don't think it was, I was willing to die on the hill of Jay White winning the title was a bad call, and I stand by those feelings to this day. While this isn't the direction I would have personally gone in, it's not a hill I'm willing to die on. I think, like, well, I feel like there's more potential things here, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
But, just, God damn it.
Yeah, I will say, though, this is going to be a big challenge for Evil, because he's always, I like Evil, but he's been hit or miss in main event spots. Mainly because I feel like he does best in just wild 20-minute brawls, big power moves, and stuff like that. That works for the Never title, but he's not really one to have the 30 or 40-minute matches. Like the one with Naito. That could, since that was just one big angle, they could have cut that down to 18 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And just gotten to that finish.
I hate to say this, and I'm not. I say this with all due respect to Evil, but he's kind of, in my opinion, the worst member of LIJ. And it's not like saying that he's bad. It's just kind of, it's a testament to how good everybody else is in LIJ. Yeah.
Like, for example, I'll put it like this: if the goal was to take this angle all the way to Wrestle Kingdom, I would have had Sonata in that role.
Yeah.
Had him be the LIJ member, then turn the fist bump into the 2-Sweet, and just take that belt and momentum to a Tokyo Dome match with Okada.
Yeah. Because there's history with Sonata and Okada, because Sonata can't.
So that's why I can't see this being too long, because I feel like he wouldn't have been the number one pick if that was the case.
Right. It's just now, and I mean, I know coronavirus is a big thing to blame with all of this, but it's also there's so many people like, where does this guy fit in? Where does Sonata fit in now? Where's Naito go from here? Where does Ibushi go from here? Where does Okada go from here? I have so many questions, and I don't know when or if we're getting answers.
I don't even know if they do at this point. But unlike a lot of other promotions, New Japan does, I think, just have enough good faith with its track record and its audience that this isn't the end of the world, at least yet.
I mean, I think New Japan would have to go full Russo.
Yeah.
Or full Ring of Honor to really destroy its goodwill. But something I was going to allude to earlier, but got sidetracked because ADD is a bitch. I don't really give two flying fucks about anything Bully Ray has to say at any time. But I read an article of something he said, and it actually brought up a good point. Evil's in the Bullet Club now. Evil is the champion. But to me, I feel like Bullet Club has really jumped the proverbial shark. It doesn't have really any sort of, he said cool factor, which, I get now, like, maybe you don't want that cool factor, but to me, I feel like,
this I get what you're saying, though.
I'm not trying to sound like no xenophobe here, but like, and I get, there's it's an international travel ban, but to me, the Bullet Club with that logo not being the evil Americans is kind of weird to me. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just kind of like not having a bunch of obnoxious Americans being douchebags. It's kind of like, this doesn't feel like the Bullet Club to me anymore, Does that make sense?
No, I totally get what you're saying. And to put it in perspective, the Bullet Club has been together for 7 years now. That's longer than DX. That's longer than the NWO. It's longer than the Four Horsemen's original run, or even with its like change in members. So to give you a perspective of just how long it has been going on and just any kind of fatigue.
I mean, and I understand, like groups evolve. I mean, Chaos is completely different than the Strong Style Forever, Tanahashi Never, Tanahashi, Togi Makabe Never idea that was originally formed around Chaos, and now it's just kind of a generic group. LIJ, even though they're a Renegade stable, they're not really they're not quite the fuck New Japan, they've all done us wrong stable. Like, I get, like, things evolve, but it's just, to me, seeing a skull and crossbones and guns and it being being a stable of, like, what, 3 American members at this point?
Yeah, I do agree. I feel like they could go with some like a rebranding for the Bullet Club, almost, you could say. Because the skull and crossbones wasn't its original logo as well, so I feel like
that kind of came with AJ, towards the end of Balor, and then kind of with AJ, and it really, like, to me, not saying anything about AJ, but like, to me, like, AJ and Anderson and Gallows having that logo really fit. It felt like here's the mission statement, and here is, 2 Southern men and this loud, obnoxious, bald man, being assholes. You know what I mean? And then now it's just like, I don't know. I agree.
I feel like it's almost just it's Ghetto Club at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which, kayfabe-wise, I feel like that has some potential, just like playing it up like, okay, everybody saw what he did with Okada. Now everybody wants to join Bullet Club to get on, like, to get the same success.
What he did with Jay, kayfabe-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm disappointed as a Naito fan, but like, I'm disappointed more, like, kayfabe disappointed. Like, I'm not like, when Jay won the title, I was, what the fuck is this fucking horrible bullshit? Like, you're gonna have this at Madison Square Garden instead of Tanahashi? Are you fucking high, Gato? But this is more like, God damn it, fucking, I want to see, God fucking knife, this sucks! This is more like a good hatred rather than the bad hatred from when Jay won the belt. But I don't know, it's so many questions, not enough answers. I know, while it's the smart, quote unquote smart fan in me thinks it'd be terrible Evil just dropped the title. If Hiromu can win, I will be the happiest man in the world. Because Hiromu, when he won the super or the best of the Super Juniors, did say he wants to hold both the heavyweight and the junior heavyweight title at the same time. So that's something else. Maybe I'm not saying he's going to win, but something else to consider with Hiromu. He might be looking to be somebody who kind of breaks down the barriers of the division, you know. And while I personally am not a fan of the guy, Ospreay's entering the heavyweight division. You might see kind of more of a blurred line between juniors going up and down in this day and age in New Japan, especially with how hard it may be to get certain people over. You might see certain junior guys getting more heavyweight title presence, and then, you know, when their program or their run with the belt's over, they challenge for the junior title again. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, Shingo is defending his title, his never title, against more juniors as opposed to previous champions.
I know I brought this up in our just texting, but I said something that might actually be considered is I could see New Japan going in a complete All Japan direction and maybe eventually unifying all three IWGP heavyweight belts together and forming a Triple Crown, and then the never title just being the secondary championship, and that's it. I don't want them to do that, but I would not be upset with New Japan kind of consolidating a few titles, but I really hope it's not the Intercontinental title that they decide to part with. I feel the tag title should be unified, and I feel like you need to... I know the Japanese fans kind of understand the never title, but maybe they need more of a clearer... If they're wanting to still expand, they need to kind of have a more clear definition on what the never title means for us dumb Westerners.
Sure, at this point, I don't even know if they can expand.
Well, at this point, but I mean, me trying to think optimistic about 2021, 2022, where hopefully
fair enough.
Something is going on with this, whether it's just, you know, vaccine or acceptance at this point. Not to be morbid, but that's like all we got. Thinking, I don't know, maybe something will be done, but overall, like, so prediction time, just to kind of put a bow on this little addendum. How long do you see Evil running with this title? I know you said earlier, but like, is there any second thoughts to the discussion?
No, I stand by it. I think probably mid-August, early September, depending on how they organize their shows.
Yeah, I can
so basically just before the G1, before October.
I can see that happening as well. I'm going to agree with you partially. I see Evil maybe holding it through the G1, and I know they're still doing it in October, but I could see him holding it through the G1. I could see Okada coming up short in the G1, but getting a win over Evil, and saying, "You aren't taking this to the Dome. I'm taking this to the Dome," and beating him. Because, hell, at this point, if they can't bring in... I can see them just straight up not doing World Tag League if they can't have international travel. Because World Tag League's pretty... It's kind of underwhelming with all the international people they can bring in for that. So I could see them just kind of foregoing World Tag League and then just having another show, like just a big fucking road to, and him go, well, winner goes the Dome, Evil versus Okada, and Okada will be like, I only want that. I don't want the Intercontinental. Okada could win, and then you could have Sonata or Naito challenge Evil, be like, fuck you for turning on us, motherfucker. We're going to take that other belt from you. And you got money in both play. You got a good match and a good story for Sonata or Naito in that respect, too. But I think he'll hold it through the G1, but I think it'll be like AJ in 2014, where he'll lose it. He'll lose it after the G1 and not go to the Dome. But yeah.
On the G1, they may even just go with less participants this year. They had a hard enough time filling 32 slots this year after for the New Japan Cup, so they could reduce it from like 20 guys to like 8 on each bracket or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like I wouldn't bring any young lions in for that, but Hiromu, Bushi, Taguchi, Sho and Yo, having them in the G1 wouldn't bother me.
Agreed.
Or at least, Hiromu and maybe, and Sho. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
And then also, I think we talked about this last time. Who knows if maybe because of all of this, if maybe some other Japanese promotions would be willing to kind of go, hey, well, the one thing I can say about, at least from what I've observed of Japanese pro wrestling, is when tragedy strikes the country, the differences seem to really go down. Like when they had the earthquake, every promotion came together for a big charity show. And they're all like, egos are done, let's help Japan. I could see with all of this going on, maybe everybody kind of collectively laying down their arms and going like, hey, here's a couple Noah guys. I know a few guys from Noah. I know a few guys from Dragon Gate. I don't know what's going on in All Japan at this point, but you might see a few more.
And Stardom is owned by their same parent company, so you could even put some of them on the show too.
Yeah, you could. I'd be okay with that. Yeah. So yeah, that's. Hopefully, the world just becomes good.
Now, and then watch as Gedo decides something completely different from what either of us said again.
Yeah. Watch it be a single elimination tournament, and he calls it King of the Ring. I'm just kidding. Gedo's actually...
And the main event of the Tokyo Dome is somehow Carl Anderson versus Hiromu, but we're still somewhat excited for it.
Because it's Hiromu! Damn it! Man, now the fucking Tokyo Dome is Taichi versus a triple threat match team. TTZ explodes. I'd be okay with that.
Oh, you said Taichi. I'm there. I don't care.
Yeah, Taichi! You play pageant all night long on January 4th, and I am okay with it. All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in to this this New Japan discussion, addendum to last night's live stream. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share, subscribe. Follow me on my social media pages, facebook.com/athleticgeek89 and Instagram @athleticgeek89. I don't think he has a public social media presence, but if you do, just go ahead and plug it. If not, I'll forward the question on to you and send it to me, like I do with Jedi, who doesn't have a public
I don't need any of you guys finding me. I'm on the DL.
He's on the DL, so if you have a compliment for him, I will forward it, and we'll go from there. Appreciate it. All right, so thank you guys for joining us. Have a good one.
Later.